All right, everybody. We are third year advertising and integrated marketing communication management students from St. Lawrence College. And we're here to present to you our topic, mobile marketing and the new super consumer. I'm Trevor Nugent.
My name is Derek Wilson.
And I'm Nicholas Ewan.
Okay, so just to give you a quick rundown of what's going on, our presentation is live on Google Docs. So that does mean that anybody can edit, so please don't take anything out. There is a slide at the very end, which you can add questions to. If you don't want to ask them to us personally, you can do it anonymously. If that helps anybody ask hard-pressing questions that they didn't want to ask out here. So the world we're entering right now, we have a lot of live streaming, a lot of data that's being tracked. Everything is going on around the consumer, and it's going on around these devices. And by these devices, I mean mobile devices, an iPad, iPhone, smartphones, anything. And you bring these with you everywhere. Yes, you sleep with many of them. I personally like to go shopping with my phone, specifically because I like to find things out while I'm shopping about products. So I'm going to let Derek talk to you right now a little bit about e-commerce.
All right. First of all, e-commerce is the action of buying and selling things over the internet, or goods and services over the internet. There's a new wave of interactive and digital media in which customers can order merchandise and view products online from their mobile devices. Consumers are using their mobile devices to shop more and more now, both from home and in the store. These mobile sites are offered by all brands, no matter how big they are. Everybody's going online now. And cross-integration with the storefront and the virtual storefront, which is the online version, means that you get more. And what we mean by this is that, let's pretend you're in Future Shop looking for an iPad, for instance. You got your GPS on your phone, you're looking through the deals. Maybe, what's to say Best Buy can't send you a message saying, hey, we have better prices on iPads than Future Shop does. So that's just an idea of or sort of the idea behind what real-time data collection is. And continuing, we have new emerging mobile technologies that make it possible to bring your mobile device anywhere. In the years past, stores weren't necessarily Wi-Fi enabled. They didn't have the QR codes in there to get more information from. So there's a little bit more functionality with mobile devices these days to be in the store. And with this functionality, the customers can price match and read the reviews and purchase online from wherever they want, including from your store or the competition's. And there's nothing stopping them from buying something from your competition while they're still in your store or talking to you. And the demographic of who's purchasing things and who's involved in the purchasing discussion is changing due to these new devices and technologies. There's a little bit, we looked into a book called Marketing to the New Super Consumer, and it's directed towards moms and kids. Moms have always had a big impact on what's being purchased and how it's being purchased for the family. And recently, instead of dictating what's being bought and them making the decisions, they're involving the kids in the family a little bit more in the decision to make the purchases. It's because kids tend to be a little bit more savvy when it comes to technology and how to use different devices, mobile phones, iPads, laptops, whatever. The new two-career households, so both parents having a job, creates a little bit higher income, but it also doesn't have as much, there's not enough time spent with the kids as there used to be. And the marketers and the retailers are recognizing this and starting to develop their advertisements and their message to target the kids more with their purchases. And this changing the trend for how things are bought. Now Trevor will tell you how to think like a consumer.
Okay, so everybody here knows what the Xbox 360 console is. Does anyone need a rundown? Michelle, Xbox 360 console is Microsoft's answer to PlayStation. It's a gaming console very popular in North America. Basically, it's Xbox, but 360. So we're going to look at where to buy an Xbox 360. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you're in Best Buy right now. No, let's say Future Shop is much more fun. So you're in Future Shop, you've got your iPad with you, you're going down the aisles, and what are you going to buy for your kid who's at home, who's bored? You want to buy him an Xbox 360. So you look at the price, and you don't like it. What do? Think about other prices. Go to eBay. So what's eBay offer you? eBay's offering you an Xbox 360 for $100. And what's also interesting is you get to see how much shipping will cost to have it shipped to your door. You can also do rush shipping on a lot of items, which will bring it to your door within 1 to 3 business days, which is super convenient if you need it right there, right now, if you forgot a Christmas present, right? So you can buy it now, like I said. And as well, there is sections on eBay for quality product reviews. Maybe not for Xbox 360, but if you're looking at buying jewelry, you want to know if it's like been scratched or stuff. You look at that stuff, you find out if it's scratched, and you're like, do you want it or do you not want it, or do you buy new? So we'll look at another site now. And this is Amazon, which is sort of another eBay. It's another site that sells products, but they don't sell it like a Best Buy would sell it from wholesale. They're basically, sometimes they do used products. This could be a refurbished product. Many times they would tell you in the title, but sometimes you have to dig further into the information to find out if it's a refurbished product. So when you're in the store, are you asking yourself, do I want a refurbished product or do I want a brand new 360? Let's go to the next slide here. Kijiji, which is super popular. I've used it to look for apartments usually, and instead of using things like classifieds, like I would buy a newspaper before, and look for the newspaper, now I just go to Kijiji from my phone, super easy. So here you have another 360. This one is slim, comes with a whole slew of things that he's throwing in, and he's also mentioned that it's upgraded to special edition bundle. So I'm assuming that means the British flag on there. But one thing about Kijiji is you need to contact the buyers and talk to them. So some people find that sort of awkward. Also, you know the product's been used before in many cases, unless it says new. So once again, this brings up a question about the value of a product that's on a site like this. Or you can look at the other hand, and you can go straight to the Best Buy website. So we have an Xbox 360 on here for $200. And you know, being from the Best Buy website, you know that it's not used. You know you're going to get it in the box. And you know that you're going to have that sort of peace of mind that you bought it from Best Buy. Say that you're in the store or Future Shop, you could have this delivered while you're in Future Shop walking out because you didn't want to buy it in Future Shop, have it delivered to your doorstep. And you have all that peace of mind from knowing that it's not a used product as well, and you have a deal possibly. Or you could skip past the Best Buy site and just go straight to the source. So this is the Xbox homepage. It's a lot cheaper on here than the other sites, specifically because they're selling it as an incentive right now. If you buy a year subscription to Xbox Live Gold, you get it for that price. So that's why that price is so low. But this is where you would get it. This is where it comes from. Do you feel more comfortable buying it from this site than you would from Kijiji? You definitely know that it's going to be a new product. So there's one other thing that customers have this crazy ability to do in stores is to Google reviews. So if I don't know what an Xbox 360 is like Michelle did, I can go Google what an Xbox 360 is. You can find out if it's worth spending that $99 to buy it from the Microsoft store, if it's worth buying it from Best Buy, or maybe I should just get it from cheap, from Kijiji. And you get not only brand reviews from like an Xbox site, but you also get personal perspectives, like that guy at the bottom there, people that have used the product before. So we'll summarize here. So basically what a super consumer can do is utilize a variety of tools, like we just talked about. They can use their PayPal accounts to buy that Xbox 360 online, have it shipped to their doorstep. They read their customer reviews, they know that the product's quality, they know that it's good, and they want it. So people are starting to take notice about this. I know we've talked about this a lot, is that online sites are now being optimized for this. A lot of online sites you can go actually order the product, specifically have it shipped to your doorstep. You can skip out a middleman like Kijiji. But the question I've been trying to raise this whole time is what happens to a product like a 360 when you buy it from a site like Kijiji? So for example, let me use a real example. I've been looking into buying an iPod Nano. And I went to Best Buy, went to Future Shop, and I looked at Future Shop. Yesterday I looked at Kijiji. There was one on there for half the price I could get it at either store. The only thing is that the guy mentioned there's a scratch on the back of it. And also, there's sort of this weird sensation. I don't really want to go to this guy's house with 50 bucks. And this guy I've never met before, hand him $50 and get this iPod. Like, I'm not sure about it. I don't know, I just feel safer going to a store like Future Shop and spending the extra money and getting it. Call me old-fashioned. Okay. So, how are products being devalued? Nick's going to take you on a little trip here to talk about this.
And don't worry, I just have 2 points. The first one is the stigma of buying used, which we got a bit of an inkling of earlier on. Trevor's unease of getting an iPod. And I know that a few people even said they would much rather buy, say, an Xbox 360 from a retailer like Best Buy, right from the source like Microsoft, than getting it on Kijiji. So let's talk about the stigma of it all. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the word, a stigma is, of course, a general unease or wanting to shy away from something. So for example, there's a bit of a stigma with using Internet Explorer to surf the internet because we all know it's full of more holes in a wall in a microwave film. So let's talk about the 2 main points. The points being defectiveness and obsolescence. So defectiveness is, of course, a flaw in a product, like, say, the scratch on that iPod Nano that Trevor wanted. So it could be something physical or aesthetic, like a scratch, or it could be something a bit more functional, like going back to the Xbox 360, the dreaded error code E74, which is a general hardware failure, which means that if you get this Xbox, it's going to be a big, expensive paperweight that sits on your desk and does nothing. So that's a defect. So that's defectiveness. It's when there's a flaw with the product, and well, honestly, it would be much better to get a brand new than have a flaw in it. The second one is obsolescence. I'm just going to take a glass of water first. So, product is obsolete. It means that, as I was saying, product is obsolete. It means that the newest phase has come out. It's no longer relevant. It's over the hill, so to speak. And it says that it's not as good as having the newest thing. So, for example, let's say the iPod or iPhone 4, if we were getting it used from Kijiji for some reason, let's say that we'd much rather have the iPhone 5, or that's probably going to come up next year, the iPhone 6. So that's kind of the stigma of buying used, is that we just don't feel comfortable now. Granted, with the fairly recent recessions, that sentiment is starting to disappear. We're a bit more comfortable buying used, but that's a whole other discussion for a whole other trends talk. So, okay. Second one is quality. And sometimes a product doesn't need to be cheap. Sometimes it's not about buying it used. Sometimes buying it used can actually be more of an hindrance than a help. Yeah, sometimes just lowering the price more doesn't help. There are some products like, some brands like, say, Apple, where, well, once again, would you rather buy an Apple product used, or would you rather buy it new, even if you're going to have to pay more? Any opinions on this? Sabrina?
New.
Exactly, new. And the reason being, the quality is assured. We know that it's a good product, we know it's a good name, and we know that it will work. brings us peace of mind. So for example, let's take the 3 M's into account: mishap, misfortune, mayhem. So if for some reason the product breaks, if we say call up that guy on Kijiji, he probably won't do much about it. If we go to a retailer brand like Best Buy, Walmart, Future Shop, they might be willing to replace it at cost. But if we go to, say, an Apple store, if we call them up under warranty and say, hey, this is broken, do you think you might be able to, I don't know, replace it? They might do one better. They'd actually repair it and bring it back to you because they know how the product is made, they know how to fix it. And that makes people comfortable. That's what they want to hear. So,
Okay. Alright, so this slide is the how to market to the new super consumer when you have the next generation. Okay, so like we've been talking about, this new super consumer, they come to the store with their mobile device. They've got it in their hand. I showed you what they can do with Xbox 360. Basically, how do you market to these people? So there's a few ways to do it. There's a really obvious way, which is to send them a coupon when they're standing in your competition's store. But is that going to bring them all the way over? If the coupon's really good, if it's like 50% off, sure, I'll walk over to the next store. But there's also this, all right? So when I say smartphones, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Smartphones, go.
Android.
iPhone.
Android.
Android. Okay, so these are all top brands. So basically, thank you, sir. They own top of mind, so they have the mind share. So this for a brand means when I say toothpaste, I think Colgate, I always go for Colgate, right? Because it's the first thing that comes to mind, it's the biggest thing I see in the store. Basically, what gets away from this is that customers can shop on Kijiji, but if you own their mind share, why would they go to Kijiji? Why not just go straight to the Xbox Live site and get the Xbox there? Or go straight to the Apple store and get the Apple there? So trying to control this can be very hard. Traditionally, it's been done through TV advertising, print advertising, and product differentiation in stores and store displays. Like Colgate, once again, for an example, it's the first thing you think about toothpaste is because you always see it in the store and you always see it on TV. So for a mobile consumer, what you can do here is that actually rather interesting, is that if you can find a way to brand yourself to their phone, possibly through applications, maybe that would make them the first thing they think of when they go to try to buy a 360. Or any other product for that matter. So when you own, I asked this question earlier, and I'll ask it again. When you own this mindshare, will customers come to you as opposed to Kijiji or eBay? And Nick will talk about this, and then he'll show you some stats.
So how do we craft that online customer experience that outshines the competition? How do we market to that super consumer? And once again, 3 fairly straightforward points. First one being tailor-made relevant content and offers, because as we found out in Camille's presentation, we hate spam, impersonal spam. And so we want the content to speak with us. We want it to actually give us something we can use. Because if it doesn't, well, you'll find out what we do just a little bit. The next one is pricing. So even if you have the same brand, chances are your competitors probably can offer, yeah, you might have the same brand, same product, but your competitors are probably giving them better value for their money, so they might feel inclined to go there instead. So, for example, and not just you have to worry about say Best Buy just up the street. You also have to worry about that guy in Kijiji, user ID 113692558, who's probably going to try to upsell you as well. And finally, and this is something important, make sure your site is mobile friendly or you will lose your customers. We're going to find out in just a little bit how. Next slide, please. Okay. So, here's some nice little statistics for everyone. 73% of consumers say that they use their mobile phone to store, and of that, 54% in your store, they're using their phones to look up what their competitors are offering so they can spend their money on them instead. And 53% are going it a step further. So they might be so they're not just looking at their competitors, at your competitors up the street, they're looking at your competitors online, like I said earlier. So they're looking at Kijiji, they're trying to find the best price for the product. Next point is, so and here's the point I made earlier, 54% of customers here in Canada and just south of the border in the States, if they have if they're loyal to you and they get spam, they will cut the ties and move on to someone else if you don't give them stuff they can actually use and at least try to personalize it for them. So once again, another point. Second point I made. The 53% of people who just said, no, I'm not going to buy anything, or just walked out of the store, 38% of them did it because they found a much better offer at, say, Best Buy up the street, and 30% went to Kijiji and they found out they could get your product with more value. And once again, that last point, if your mobile browser, if your mobile site isn't good, or if they think it's terrible, or they just hate it, or maybe they just hate you, they will go to a competitor's site and they will never walk into your store again.
Okay, so look at the question slide. I wonder if anybody added any questions. Oh.
We did such a good job. You guys didn't even have questions.
If you guys want to ask the questions now, we'd be